number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Obviously a very important day, and it was about what should be the norm and what the American people should be able to take for granted, which is that one of the most important pillars of our democracy is that there will be a peaceful transfer of power. And today, I did what I have done my entire career, which is take seriously the oath that I have taken many times to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, which included today performing my constitutional duties to ensure that the people of America, the voters of America, will have their votes counted, that those votes matter, and that they will determine then the outcome of an election. I do believe very strongly that America's democracy is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. Every single person, their willingness to fight for and respect the importance of our democracy. Otherwise, it is very fragile, and it will not be able to withstand moments of crisis. And today, America's democracy stood.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and today we got to talk about it, man. We have to talk about Sunny Hostin and The View making absurd comments in reference to J6 in comparison to a host of things that it probably shouldn't be compared. I'm not going to say probably. It shouldn't be compared to. These women are insufferable, but they are the gift that keeps on giving, and we have to talk about it, man. So we're going to get into this video. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Turn the notifications on so you never miss an upload. And without further ado, let's go.
Peaceful transfer of power is one of the most fundamental principles of American democracy. Today at the United States Capitol, I will perform my constitutional duty as Vice President of the United States to certify the results of the 2024 election. As we have seen, our democracy can be fragile, and it is up to then each one of us to stand up for our most cherished principles.
President Biden.
She was struggling to get through that little 60-second clip. You guys know that. We talked about that in the live stream, but she was struggling to get through that 60-second clip.
Also penned an op-ed warning about the unrelenting effort to rewrite and even erase the history of that day. So is that what happened here? I mean, we all watched.
Yep.
I think most of us saw. I mean, some folks still say that's not what happened, but you know, but what do we do?
I think we need to find moral clarity, you know, in this country. And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. And then you started seeing people backtrack that and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, you know, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on, because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moment,
one of the worst moments in U.S. history. Think about that, man. Think about the things that have happened in this country. I'm not saying that that situation at J6 was a good look, because honestly, it wasn't. But let's call it what it was, man. It was American citizens voicing their First Amendment, or, you know, taking their First Amendment right to protest and to let the government know their displeasure with the current government and what they thought about the previous election. That's what it was. One person lost their life, which was Ashley Babbitt, who was shot and killed by a Capitol Police. And that is such an unfortunate situation that none of these people will even bring up. They won't talk about it. They won't tell you about the, swath of, FBI informants and all these types of folks that was a part of the crowd. And they let these people in. But Sonny Hostin gaslighting people, saying it's the worst, it's like one of the worst tragedies or one of the worst, moments in U.S. history is just absolutely wrong.
Moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery. We need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
I want to ask.
She's a moron. This lady's a moron. She said World War II. This lady just compared the J6 incident to World War II, where on the Pearl Harbor attack, we had 8 battleships damaged, 4 of them being sunk, 200 aircraft destroyed, 2,403 Americans killed, including military personnel and civilians, 1,178 people wounded. This lady compared J6 to that. It's a slap in the face to those men and women who served, who fought and lost their lives in World War II. This lady's flat out ridiculous. She compared it to the Holocaust. Seriously. The Holocaust resulted in the deaths of approximately 11 to 12 million people. It still today remains one of the most horrific and significant genocides in human history, underscoring the dangers of hatred, bigotry, and authoritarianism. And she compared J6 to the Holocaust. Again, a slap in the face to the people who lost their lives. Sonny Hostin should be ashamed of herself, man. She should be ashamed of herself, man, for even bringing that up. It's freaking ridiculous.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I'll always be proud of Mike Pence for doing the right thing, but it's also an incredibly low bar. It's simply fulfilling the Constitution, just as Kamala Harris is going to do today, as Al Gore did before her. People have lost, and they've put the Constitution over their political ambitions. I have to say, I think there were warning signs, though, that we would be where we are today. And most Americans were not comfortable with January 6th. They thought it was bad. They thought it was awful. But for 4 years, they said, guys, we are hurting. The cost of living is too high. We are concerned about the border. I predicted here 6 months ago we were careening to Donald Trump's inauguration. People needed to listen that, yes, democracy matters, but if you can't pay your bills, it's hard to care about something as nebulous as democracy. And I think that the warning signs were there. And I say this with due respect to Joe Biden. I didn't disagree with a word he said in that op-ed, but people were saying, we have concern about your age. He waited till August and then gave Kamala Harris this runway to run for president. All the warning signs were there. This was Democrats. They had the chance to stop Donald Trump from being inaugurated. And here we are. But I hope people don't. I hope the whitewashing of January 6th ends. It wasn't right. It never will be, no matter how much people lie about it. But this was avoidable in my mind.
Well, and I think that
It was definitely avoidable. Ask Nancy Pelosi about it. They set this up. They set it up to make it seem as it's a black mark against President Trump and the MAGA movement. And they thought that it would basically torpedo his chances of becoming president again, or his just whatever political endeavors he thought he may have had after the fact. And they've tried everything to keep today from happening. They tried everything. They tried this J6, insurrectionist. They, indicted this man a multitude of times. Failed assassination attempts. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. And Alyssa, she's absolutely right. Democrats spent the better part of 2 years, and especially all of last year, telling everybody that orange man bad, not good for the country, when gas prices are through the roof, food prices through the roof. It's actually cheaper to rent right now than it is to purchase a home. People are struggling. We've been in a recession since 2021. There's not a lot of jobs out there. Tons of people been laid off. Multitudes of people working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. They're counting gig work, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash as actual full-time jobs. And it's covering up the numbers of the amount of people that really don't have, a full-time opportunity that gives them the opportunity for benefits and things of that nature. And they ignored it. And then Sunny Hostin, she goes out and throws out this ridiculous comparison. I mean, it's crazy. There's been some really bad things that happened in this country. You look at 9/11, you look at, the attack on Pearl Harbor, and you look at the terrorist attack that happened not too long ago in New Orleans. That situation's way worse than what happened January 6th. And the fact that she is comparing situations where, in some cases, more than 2 handful of people have passed away and perished, all the way up to the Holocaust, 11 to 12 million people lost their lives, and you got the nerve to compare that, people should be offended. I'm offended. She compared J6 to chattel slavery? Are you kidding me? That's why no one can take these people seriously. Because they gaslight, they go to the extreme, and then they don't understand why we're not listening to them like that anymore. If it wasn't for channels like mine and so many others out there that just react to the foolery that comes out of these cackling hens' mouths, who knows? They honestly shouldn't be on TV anymore, to be honest with you. Somebody should replace them. I don't know if that'll happen. Maybe somebody will come out with a show that will compete against them. Lord, I hope that happens. But Sunny Hostin, man, she should not have a platform to spew that type of rhetoric. When you start comparing J6 to the attack on Pearl Harbor, chattel slavery, and the Holocaust, I think at that point, you've lost your ability to speak to the American people on a national platform. And I'm not even for censoring people, but when you say things that are that just off base, goodness gracious. Now, I didn't watch the remainder, of that show in this clip, but I hope she had to come back and refute that statement. Where is IPAC at, or IPOC? Where are those people at saying, nah, you can't compare J6 to the Holocaust? Are you kidding me? These people should be so disgusting, man. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys supporting me. If you'd like to support the channel financially, consider joining the ARP family or buy your man a coffee. Link in the description box below. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. Stay bundled up. It is cold out there. I'm going to catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw.